Today we're going to talk about two things. We're going to talk about long U patterns, and long U patterns just automatically connect to our next conversation, which is diphthongs. All right, so that is a funny word, and this is definitely for your upper elementary students. I never taught this exact phrase, diphthong, to second graders. All right, but I'll show you what I did teach to second graders. All right, so long U, if you remember from our very first lesson, makes two sounds. So we have mule, mule, okay, and then we have flute, flute, makes a oot, all right? So with that, we have our double O, all right? That's what sort of the sound, as in pool, school, make that flute, pool, school, and then mood. Okay. So those are just that what you consider the double O sound. Some people also call this an ambiguous vowel, which is actually another lesson. All right. Today it's going to be sort of tricky. There's a lot of different patterns and different sounds that these words can make. Okay. So obviously besides U consonant E, right, going back to some regular patterns, we also have UI, okay, as in suit, okay, all right, so UI. And then we also have UE, all right, and these are somewhat, how do students know when to use which one? So see if you can figure it out. So if you notice, UE is typically at the very end of a word with a long U sound, the end of the syllable. Do, blue, glue, has the very end of it. Right? So be careful with that. So suit, UI are typically in the middle of the words. So now if we go to EW, okay, so chew, stew, brew, drew. We also have a different sort of ooh sound there, all right? So chew, stew, this spell with an EW. Some people also consider EW a diphthong, which is where this connects, okay? So a diphthong is vowels that are blended together to make a brand new vowel sound. Some people also call diphthongs gliding vowels, okay? Again, as I mentioned earlier, when I taught second grade, I never said this is a diphthong. I just taught the students the pattern, all right? But these are the same thing, gliding vowels and diphthongs. Okay. So, I'm going to erase all this. That is confusing. Okay. The most common diphthong that we teach is oi, all right? And then if you remember from yesterday, this can make a long O. This is ow. So if you look at the word, cowboy has two diphthongs in it. Ow, oi. Okay, so boy, toy, okay, boy, we already know that one. Okay, so being able to OW, we have sow, as in the pig, right? Cow. Okay, so you have to be careful because that can also make long O. Right. And then OI, right? Soy, all, oi. Okay, so OI is typically at the end of a word, OI is typically in the middle. So I taught my students these patterns. I just didn't say this is a diphthong. I taught them these patterns. And then we have OU. Loud. Right. Okay. Loud. Okay. Found. Okay. So ow. Okay. So with ow, OU is typically in the middle, and OW is typically at the end. So OI and OW are typically at the end, and these two are normally in the middle. So these are what we call diphthongs, or gliding vowels. They blend together, and they make a brand new vowel sound, right? And there's a more complex way of describing diphthongs, but I'm keeping it very simple for today.